Let's move on to addition and subtraction of algebraic fractions. Of course, one of the important things about that is finding the lowest common denominator between the fractions to make them all the same element. So let's look at some examples. Determine the lowest common denominator for each of the following algebraic fractions. Over there is the video of the question, the example. If you've registered and you click on it, you could actually go in. Here we go. This always does this. Bye. See you. Let's go in again. Okay. Now, all I have to do is go back to there, click on that again, now that I'm logged in, and I'll get to the very video I need. Have a look. Here we are here. If I just start it slightly.
All right, great sense. Now that we know how to multiply and divide fractions and do those things, now we're going to look at addition and subtraction of algebraic fractions.
Just as an illustration for you, and that's for every single example, every single exercise in this book, but you need to register. Let's have a look at these for common denominators. So the first one, I'm going to set it out like this. Here are the factors of 4x squared. Here are the factors of 3x cubed. I put the numbers in this row. I'm putting the same factors in this row now. So the x cubed goes there. Here the 2 goes there, the x goes there, and then the y is a separate factor down here. Now, the lowest number these will go into will be part of the lowest common denominator, that being 12. Highest power of this factor. We need something that all three will go into. And if you think about it, if we have 3 different size feet and we want a shoe for all of them to go into, we've got to look at the biggest foot. So we're looking at the biggest foot there, and that's why we say x cubed. Highest power of this factor, well, there we are. And that gives us our lowest common denominator for those 3. B, let's set it up in the same way. You'll notice that x plus 2 is a factor. We cannot say x and 2 are factors. There are 2 terms, which means only one factor, x plus 2. And x is a factor. No numbers. So we won't worry about the numbers. Highest power of this factor? Well, it's x plus 1, x plus 2. Highest power of this factor? X. So now multiply them together, and there is our lowest common denominator. The third one. Same thing there. I cannot factorize x squared plus 2. And it is 2 terms, therefore only one factor, so it goes in as a factor there. No numbers. Highest power of this factor, itself. Highest power of this factor, itself. And there is your lowest common denominator. D. So now x plus 2 is a factor, and that's x plus 2 squared. So that's also goes in the same row as that, because they're both x plus 2 factors. No number. Highest power of this factor? Well, clearly x plus 2 squared. And therefore your lowest common denominator is x plus 2 squared. This one here, in order to be able to do it, we need to say, well, 2 terms there we cannot factorize anymore, so therefore it's the single factor. Here there are 2 terms, but we can factorize. There's a common denominator, common factor, sorry. So let's take out the common factor. Notice there we are, x squared plus 2x, and it becomes x into x plus 2. I've left the shadow of the previous behind so you can see it there. X plus 2 is a factor, And that's all. This one has x and x plus 2. So we put x plus 2 in the same line as x plus 2 and x in another line. We leave this one for numbers. So they're your factors. No numbers. Highest power of this factor, well, clearly x plus 2. Highest power of this factor, clearly x. Multiply them. There's your lowest common denominator. F. Well, here we need to do a factorization as well. Two terms, one factor. One term, two factors. Two terms, one factor. But we could factorize 4x plus 4. Pretty simple one, the common factor of 4. So let's take it out. There we are. Have a look again. 4x plus 4, 4 into x plus 1. This one has two factors, 4, and I'm putting it into the number row, and x plus 1. This is 4 and x. Now, x plus 1 is a factor on its own. You cannot say x has anything to do with x plus 1, so we need to put x into a different row, and x plus 4, a separate factor there. So they're your factors. Lowest number these will go into, 4. Lowest number this will go into, x plus 1 as it is. Lowest number, everything in this row will go into x, and sorry, I've been saying lowest, I mean highest. And highest power of this factor, there it is there. It is the lowest that these will go into though. So it's the highest power, but we're looking for the lowest common denominator. Now we multiply those together. I'll change the order for neatness. I'll say 4x, x plus 1, x plus 4. Just for neatness. So let's have a look at using it. If we have a look at this one now. I've repeated it, and I've put x minus 2 in brackets. I'll tell you why, is that this line is really a bracket in its own way, because it says 3x cubed is dividing into both of those. And especially because of the negative there, I put the bracket here because just now they're all going to appear over one denominator. And I'm very worried about this whole sign change business. So we look here, we say, okay, what's our lowest common denominator? Well, the numbers, it's 12, 4 and 3. The x's, I've got to choose the highest power of x, so it's x cubed. And the y's, or the y, it's the highest power of y. So there we are, 12x cubed y. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change each of these to 12x cubed y in order to be able to do it. There's our lowest common denominator. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to say, well, to make that into 12x cubed y, I must multiply by 12x cubed y. So I multiply by 12x cubed y over 12x cubed y, which really is 1. I'm not changing it. This one needs to be multiplied by 3x in order to be able to make it 12x cubed y. So 3x, so therefore 3x over 3x. This has to be multiplied by 4 to give us the 12, and a y to give us the y at the end there. So 4y over 4y, really multiplying by 1, and that gives us 1 times 12x cubed y is 12x cubed y. 1 times 3x is 3x. And then this one here, 4y times that, there it is there. Now here's where that bracket comes into use, because this sign is going to change. So when we multiply out, there is our final answer. And here are the exercises for the day.